Definitely. I would say between lending and again, in real estate, we get very creative a lot. So you might have private people you're trying to get money from, right? Actual banks and institutions. You might do a lot of the BRRRR methods where you're buying something, fixing it, and then looking to refinance. So you're talking to refinance lenders. And yes, to have a nice income and expense breakdown where you can say, listen, we've been operating, we're very confident in these numbers, and it just puts a whole nother level of like
Yeah.
professionalism, especially if you're going to try to show.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm Cody Crabb with Investor Fuel, and today I'm joined by Jessica Villanova, owner of Real Books Bookkeeping out of Central Florida. Jessica works directly with real estate investors and helps them get control of their numbers so they can actually scale with confidence, along with landlords and wholesalers and flippers. But what's really interesting about Jessica is she's not just on the bookkeeping side. She's also an investor herself and has been for a while. So we're going to get to both sides of it today: what investors think they're doing with their money, what the numbers actually say, and why you shouldn't be scared to look at your books. We were talking a little before this, and I was admitting I have absolutely been guilty of that whole, like, if I don't look at my bank account, I can pretend it's fine kind of thing. She assured me that is not a phenomenon, that it only happens to me. Is that right, Jessica?
It is not. And thank you, Cody, first of all, for the invite. It's very exciting to be here.
Of course, yeah.
But yes, I would say that is not a real estate specific problem at all. I would say most people like not looking at the numbers and just kind of floating through things and hoping it'll all come out on the back end, which sometimes works, sometimes might not.
Well, and clearly there's a lot of need for what you do, clearly. So speaking of what you do, I would love to get a little bit of like a background origin story. How did you get into real estate in the first place? How did you get into investing, and how did you get into bookkeeping specifically? Because it seems like a little bit of a zigzag going on there, and I'd love to know where that started.
Definitely. So yes, real estate in general, I got in about 15, 16 years ago now. Kind of cliche. I read the Rich Dad Poor Dad book and kind of got hooked on that whole concept. I know.
It's
Um,
either this is what I always hear. It's one of three things. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad and I wanted to do it. I listened to Bigger Pockets,
mhm.
and I was like, I need to do it. Or the third one is usually I Googled how did rich people get their money? And it's one of those three, or all of them. Yeah.
Fair
So
enough.
very,
I'd
yeah,
also see sometimes you get the accidental people who are like, I inherited this property and I had no idea what to do with it, and then I
might as
just
well.
got addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I did get kind of addicted once I read the book. Ironically, I actually went to the same college that Robert Kiyosaki did.
Oh, that's
So I was
funny.
like, okay, this is kind of fun. And I don't know, started with long-term rentals myself, um, and started growing with those.
Anything
Then got
specific that
in.
drew you to the long-term world?
I just really liked the stability of it. I was kind of a chicken when I started, and I was like, okay, if I see something that is making money and I can see it already doing it, nothing too major to fix, or, these
Fair.
major
Yeah.
remodels where
No one's
you
going to
have like
fault you for that. Yeah.
bones of a
Yeah.
house and you have to go in there and do everything. So yeah, I definitely started like towing water, kind of chickeny on the side from my, job at the time. Um, but really liked it. I started with a couple multifamily, purchased a couple more, kind of rolled a little bit from there. At one point I got into, flips, rehabs, did those for a few years. Really liked that aspect of it as well. And then did a couple short-term rentals and then kind of cycled back into the long-term rentals.
Too scary. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's I like when people kind of you do a few things and you're like, no, this was the right choice. I should do the thing. Yeah. Okay, so that gets us into kind of the real estate part, right? But
Right.
now you went from real estate to bookkeeping, with bookkeeping in real estate. And I'm kind of, what point made you start noticing like investors are not dialed in where they need to be, or like people are not aware of the books how they need to be? I'm assuming this was just a strength of yours in real estate.
Well, ironically, first got through all of those thoughts because I sat there and I said, I do not have good bookkeeping and I do not have all of my
Oh,
things together.
wow.
Oh, yeah. I have made all the mistakes and gone through all of it.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
And in my journey, I've hired several bookkeepers, while I was running the rentals, while I was running the flips. Never someone who had also been in real estate or was really like in that niche, and just really didn't find that I was getting what I wanted or really needed from them. A lot of people think bookkeeping and they're like, yeah, when it's tax time, I'll get a bookkeeper and they'll just put all my receipts out of the shoebox and, put it all on an Excel spreadsheet and we're done and we're good to go. But there is a lot more to it. And, especially on the real estate investment side, we are all about obviously profits, making money.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
But also with multiple assets, you might be comparing different types of properties. Even if you're just doing multiple long-term rentals or multiple flips, while you're in the thick of it, it's really hard to see how each property is doing and what's going on because you're, running around chasing contractors or
Yeah.
looking for your next deal. So you're
Yeah,
really
it's
not
easy to get
focusing on
lost
those
in the day to
things.
day and not kind of
Yes.
follow up on these like, but is this actually working or not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
those are the
see what
things
you
you
mean.
want to see. And I felt like I was really not getting that feedback. And I didn't really have the time to do it full time myself because I was doing that same thing, chasing deals and talking to sellers and talking to other investors and trying to expand and grow. So, if you're trying to scale and grow, it's hard to also focus on those things that are easy to say, what, in January, February, March, I'll look at all of that and it'll be fine. And it's just not the
Hopefully.
best way to do things.
Yeah, yeah. I'm literally sitting here like, oh man, I really need to start my taxes. Like it's just I'm so guilty of that. Yeah, it's if it's not your forte. Well, that actually leads me nicely into if you're not if that's not your strength, you have two options. Well, you have three options. One is to fail.
Mm.
Then the other two options are learn how to do it yourself, which is what you did, or find someone that learned how to do it themselves, or that's their specialty. So, let's talk about kind of who you're typically working with and when do people usually realize like, oh, maybe I can't do this by myself. I probably need some help with this.
Fair enough. Yes. So I specifically stay in the real estate realm. So working with real estate investors, flippers, landlords, smaller property managers, even realtors, really anybody who's in the real estate space. And most of the time, unfortunately, when people realize that they need some assistance is either after they've kind of gone a couple of years, it usually ends up being where they realize that their books either aren't together or again, it's tax time and they're trying to get everything piled together and they're like, okay, this is not happening, not working. I talked to a lot of people in January who are really gung ho about getting all of their things together. And then by this time, March, April, May, it comes
I
to
feel a little
realization
called out
again.
here, but yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
my
it's hard though, because you're focusing on all the things you do and you're
yeah.
like, that's such a trivial thing and I don't like dealing with it, so I just
Yeah.
won't. And that's what most people feel,
Well,
at the
and
end of the
that
day.
right there is the perfect time to start a business around something because people are so frustrated by it that they're like, just please get this off my plate. Like I'll do anything.
Yeah, well, like I
Um,
said, I've been there too. So, I
yeah.
mean, at the end of the day, it's not right for everyone to outsource bookkeeping. I'll definitely say that, especially if you're really only doing a couple of small properties or you're just doing it on the side of your main job and you're not really ready to grow a lot. But, if you're an investor that's looking to scale, and really looking to expand, then I'd say that's the time to really look at outsourcing the bookkeeping. Because even as you are looking at maybe taking partners on, it's really nice to be able to show them, hey, these are our profitabilities on these other properties. This is how I operate. Even when you're applying for loans, you can use reports and things from bookkeeping that kind of give you a little bit of an extra edge, looking a little more professional getting into things. And then just for yourself, if you're looking at properties, you're trying to expand and maybe you haven't been looking at the properties you're actually operating because you're so busy in the day to day that you don't even realize, what, I shouldn't even have this one. Like we should sell this one, or I should be using the funds from this one for something else, or hey, this one's doing really great. If that model is working really well, like let's focus on that and let's ditch the whatever else it is, long-term rentals, short-term rentals, or it's hard to look at your business as an overall when you can't see it from an overall.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
I totally get what you mean there. This is actually again good transition. If someone is getting to the point where they're like, I should probably start outsourcing this. What are some signs that you might start to see that are like just they're creeping in, like early warning signals?
Well, I guess from being the owner yourself, um, you would see things like, and I know because again I've been there, where even when you try I'll start here. Most people when they're doing bookkeeping, they're tracking something in Excel, right? Or even if they're using a software, they're just doing the information goes in there, but then you have to actually go in there and put things in all the right buckets and kind of space things out. So it's a lot of interaction of yourself, right, to do the bookkeeping. So you kind of start to see those things back up where when you're going in there, maybe you're not putting in a week's worth of data anymore. You start to feel yourself drifting to where it's, hey, a month at a time, or maybe 2 months at a time. And then you're looking at receipts and you're kind of saying, oh, I don't even remember what this one was for. We'll just kind of skip that one for now. And where you feel it slipping, I mean, honestly, is what you would
Yeah.
kind of see from the owner operator side. Or again, if you're just looking at your checking accounts each month, even if you have business banking accounts, however you're set up, and you're seeing the deposits come in either from the tenants or your property managers, however you're set up, but you really can't look at them and explain them to yourself where you're like, okay, I see, 5,000 came in this month, 10,000 came in last month. I see 1,000, slated for next month. I'm not exactly sure what's going on, but I have other things to focus on. So as long as money's going in there, it's fine. And then, you're really not happy when you're seeing that you don't have an understanding of how the money flow is actually going.
Yeah.
I would say is a good one also.
Yeah, I think is it like is time like the first thing? Like even if you're good at it, I imagine that like time is a big factor. Like if you might not just not have time to do it, it's a time consuming thing to go through someone's books. So
It is. And again, as most real estate investors know, there's lots of things we end up outsourcing, right? At the end of the day, maybe when you're starting, you're doing your own marketing, you're doing your own tax return, you're doing your own bookkeeping, you're the one driving around looking for properties. But if you're really focused on expanding, you realize you can't do all of those things.
there's only one
And
of
it
you.
just
Yeah.
makes sense to outsource. And something like bookkeeping, unfortunately, as like an owner operator, it's really not a huge value add unless you really know how to get to that last point of
Mm.
putting all the data together to analyze it, right? So you have to do this task, and it's not like you make more money from doing it yourself. But when you start to outsource, then you can do a whole nother deal that month because you're not spending the time on doing the bookkeeping. And then the next month you can do another extra deal or two. And that's where you really start to see that those activities are really what you should be focusing on as the business owner, not the things that are, I would say, easier to outsource and still get, a lot of good information out of from not doing it yourself.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think this is hearing this is all really helpful for someone that probably has been thought about. If you are the kind of person that is about ready to do it, to outsource it or to think about outsourcing it, this is something that's been on your mind probably. Like you've thought, oh man, I don't know if I can handle this type stuff. So it's hearing these things is probably very validating to be like, okay, yeah, I was right. Uh, I should.
Yeah, and again, I've been there, even oh gosh, the first flip I did, I sat at the house every day. I was babysitting contractors. I literally was writing out, every cent that came in and out, and it was the quickest flip I did and it was profitable, but at the end of the day, I could look back and say, okay, it's literally impossible for me to do this on every property that I do, and instead of me sitting there, I could have been doing marketing for my next deal, or I could have
Yeah.
found the next property while I was waiting for this one to get worked on and finished.
Yeah. Okay. So like once you've cleaned up your books, like what does that change? Like what does that unlock for you being able to have clean books? Because it's not like you said, it's not a huge value add that you can do yourself, but like I'm curious, what are the value adds once you do that?
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Sure. Well, number one, just having the data clean kind of helps not miss things, right? Because, like I said, you might be trying to clean up a year of your own data. And do you remember which Home Depot receipts or business lunches you went out to a year ago? Probably
Yeah.
not.
Much
So,
less real estate where it's like constant. So yeah, I know what you mean.
yes. So, when you're always moving into it. So, preventing missing data or, anything from not being included in there. Um, from an overview, it's a lot easier to see things that you might literally just be missing. So if you're looking at your bookkeeping monthly, it's all cleaned up, you're getting a nice report, and you can start to look at it and say, listen, somehow we're spending, this extra $5,000, $10,000 on, I don't know, utility services or this one specific type of marketing, and we haven't gotten a deal from this marketing in 2 years. So why are we still paying for this marketing? And because you don't realize those things, right? It's like when they advertise for the, hey, we'll clean up all of your unwanted subscriptions. And
Yeah.
then you start to do it and you're like, holy cow, I've been paying for like this movie subscription that I haven't touched in 15
Yeah.
years.
I didn't even know that was still around. Yeah, exactly. A Blockbuster membership fees. What is
Yeah.
that?
So the
Yeah.
same thing happens in business. And if you're not looking at it, you don't really see it, right? Because that
Yeah,
it
for
just
sure.
doesn't work that way. So that's a big one too. And on the same side, potentials for profit on a certain side, right? So you might again not really be breaking down the incomes that you're getting from a property, but then if you really see it all on paper for a few months over time or like a comparative year, you can say, listen, these two rental properties, we added laundry units and it ended up increasing our profit by 15-20%. So let's do that for the rest of our properties. If, that's something that you can look at and see, and it really, when we love numbers, right? We're investors. That's what everything comes from at the end of the day. That's how we justify everything to all the people
Totally.
who
Yeah.
told us we were crazy to get into
Well,
real estate.
yeah,
And
exactly. You can just show them the receipts, literally show them the receipts.
yes.
So what is it that, what, this is just me kind of saying, I imagine this, Does this also help on like the back end when you've got you can clearly show really nice books to banks and stuff like that's I would imagine that when you're kind of trying to get more funding and people are much more receptive to like, here's everything, I can lay out everything for you, here you go, and they're more willing to, is that the case? Again, this is just me thinking probably, but
Oh, yeah, definitely. I would say between lending and again, in real estate, we get very creative a lot. So you might have private people you're trying to get money from,
uh
right? Actual banks and institutions. You might do a lot of the BRRRR methods where you're buying something, fixing it, and then looking to refinance. So you're talking to refinance lenders. And yes, to have a nice income and expense breakdown where you can say, listen, we've been operating, we're very confident in these numbers. And it just puts a whole nother level of like
yeah.
professionalism, especially if you're going to try to show a private investor that you're going to give them a percentage back. And they're like, well, how do I know you're even going to make money? And you can say, well, here, I can show you that we've been making this. Be splitting these profits with you. And that's a really positive light on things for sure. And it just helps you evaluate when you're looking to buy another property so you can look at the numbers as well, and it definitely makes a whole nother level of
Yeah.
many deals are completed, on the napkin math and handshakes at a bar, but these days, a lot of people like to see the numbers.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it kind of sounds like it would. Hiring a bookkeeper can absolutely pay for itself because you're literally kind of creating visibility into stuff that like you're probably going to end up not paying for stuff that you currently pay for, and you're going to be taking better deals and making better, doing things to adjust. So it sounds like it's totally going to pay for itself. This is awesome. So one last question for you as we wrap up here. If someone is wanting to find a bookkeeper or someone to help them or whatever. Question one, can they work with you? Do they have to live in a certain place or something like that? And question two is, if they can't work with you, what makes a good bookkeeper? What should they look for when they're trying to find one?
Fair enough. So I Real Books works completely remotely, so
Awesome.
they do not have to be in Florida. I would say within the United States is what we focus with. But yes, does not have to be local to Florida. If you are, all the merrier. But and at the end of the day, I would say number one, when you're looking for a bookkeeper, referrals are always
Mm,
the best kind of option, because if you have someone who's happy with their bookkeeper, I think that holds a lot more weight than, just Googling and trying to find something. We always offer free consultations. So I like to speak to all of, potential clients and really get a good understanding, make sure we're on the same page, because it is at the end of the day a relationship. It shouldn't be a complete set and forget. Like, you should be talking to your bookkeeper at least
for
once a
sure.
month,
Yeah.
if not a little bit more. So there is still some involvement. So, you kind of want that personal level of things. And one thing I would say is, not that it's a horrible thing, but a lot of people use their accountant also as their bookkeeper. And again, not the worst thing. Definitely, they have a lot of financial knowledge, but some days I'd say maybe that's trying to use like your mortgage lender as your insurance guy. It's like, you know what, maybe just keep some separation, because your
You
mortgage guy's really
could.
good at mortgages and your insurance guy's
Yeah.
really good at insurance. And if they're doing both, not that they're dropping the ball, but it's good to keep separation, right?
Yeah.
Because your tax professional I don't do taxes, but your tax professional has really good knowledge of tax codes, tax advice, all those key areas. So let them do that. And you should have a separate bookkeeper that's focusing on all of your day to day and the
Yeah.
in the weeds.
For sure. Okay, so if you feel as called out as I did by today's episode, we're talking to you. You should probably look into this. And also, like, if you're not going to hire somebody, like, just try to get on top of it. Like you said, there's a big return if you really know how these things are working. So if someone wants to find you online, how can they do that?
We do have a website. It's at realbooksbookkeeping.com. And I should be putting up there shortly kind of a basic um, template for people who are doing their own bookkeeping and aren't at that point to hire out. So I'll be putting that down. That's downloadable. And maybe I'll shoot you a message when that's actually available, because we're working
Cool.
on that
Yeah, we can
now.
add that to the notes and things. Yeah.
Yeah, just because, again, some people aren't at that point, and at least you should be making sure it's getting done, even if you are doing it yourself at this point, right?
Totally. Yeah.
So yes, available there. We are on Facebook at Real Books Bookkeeping, on Instagram at Real Books Bookkeeping. And again, always free consultations, available just at least to talk through what your business setup is, how your entities are structured, and what you're looking for, especially if you're looking to grow and expand.
Hmm. Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us today. I love episodes like this because it really gets people thinking. It's not just like another investor saying what they've done. This is like great advice, I think. Thanks so much for sharing this with us. And thank you, all of you, for listening today. If you learned something, or like I said, you feel a little called out, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, do all the things. And make sure that you are subscribed to see the next episode where we talk to more awesome people like Jessica. Jessica, thanks so much again for joining us today.
Thank you, Cody, and all Investor Fuel. I appreciate it.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.